Human body temperature. Normal human body temperature, also known as normothermia or euthermia, is the typical temperature range found in humans. The normal human body temperature range is typically stated as 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius, 97.7 to 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Human body temperature is variable and dependent upon one's sex, age, time of day, exertion level, health status, i.e., illness, menstrual cycle in females, the location and/ on the body in which the measurement is being taken, the subject's state of consciousness, waking, sleeping or sedated, as well as emotional state. Body temperature is maintained within normal range by thermoregulation, whereby the lowering or raising of temperature is triggered by the central nervous system. Methods of measurement. Taking a person's temperature is an initial part of a full clinical examination. There are various types of medical thermometers, as well as sites used for measurement, including variations. Temperature control, thermoregulation, is part of a homeostatic mechanism that keeps the organism at optimum operating temperature, as the temperature affects the rate of chemical reactions. In humans, the average internal temperature is 37.0 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, though it varies among individuals. However, no person always has exactly the same temperature at every moment of the day. Temperatures cycle regularly up and down through the day, as controlled by the person's circadian rhythm. The lowest temperature occurs about 2 hours before the person normally wakes up. Additionally, temperatures change according to activities and external factors. In addition to varying throughout the day, normal body temperature may also differ as much as half a degree Celsius, 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit, from one day to the next, so that the highest or lowest temperatures on one day will not always exactly match the highest or lowest temperatures on the next day. Normal human body temperature varies slightly from person to person and by the time of day. Consequently, each type of measurement has a range of normal temperatures. The range for normal human body temperatures, taken orally, is 36.8 plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius, 98.2 plus or minus 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that any oral temperature between 36.3 and 37.3 degrees Celsius, 97.3 and 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit, is likely to be normal. The normal human body temperature is often stated as 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius, 97.7 to 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. In adults, a review of the literature has found a wider range of 33.2 to 38.2 degrees Celsius, 91.8 to 100.8 degrees Fahrenheit, for normal temperatures, depending on the gender and location measured. Reported values vary depending on how it is measured: oral, under the tongue, 36.8 plus or minus 0.4 degrees Celsius, 98.2 plus or minus 0.72 degrees Fahrenheit, internal, rectal, vaginal, 37.0 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. A rectal or vaginal measurement taken directly inside the body cavity is typically slightly higher than oral measurement, and oral measurement is somewhat higher than skin measurement. Other places, such as under the arm or in the ear, produce different typical temperatures. While some people think of these averages as representing normal or ideal measurements, a wide range of temperatures has been found in healthy people. The body temperature of a healthy person varies during the day by about half a degree Celsius, 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit, with lower temperatures in the morning and higher temperatures in the late afternoon and evening, as the body's needs and activities change. Other circumstances also affect the body's temperature. The core body temperature of an individual tends to have the lowest value in the second half of the sleep cycle. The lowest point, called the nadir, is one of the primary markers for circadian rhythms. The body temperature also changes when a person is hungry, sleepy, sick, or cold. Natural rhythms. Body temperature normally fluctuates over the day following circadian rhythms, with the lowest levels around 4 a.m. and the highest in the late afternoon, between 4 o'clock and 6 p.m., assuming the person sleeps at night and stays awake during the day. Therefore, an oral temperature of 37.3 degrees Celsius, 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit, would, strictly speaking, be a normal, healthy temperature in the afternoon but not in the early morning. An individual's body temperature typically changes by about half a degree Celsius, 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit, between its highest and lowest points each day. Body temperature is sensitive to many hormones, so women have a temperature rhythm that varies with the menstrual cycle, called the circummenstrual rhythm. A woman's basal body temperature rises sharply after ovulation, as estrogen production decreases and progesterone increases. Fertility awareness programs use this change to identify when a woman has ovulated in order to achieve or avoid pregnancy. During the luteal phase of the menstrual cycle, both the lowest and the average temperatures are slightly higher than during other parts of the cycle. However, the amount that the temperature rises during each day is slightly lower than typical, so the highest temperature of the day is not very much higher than usual. Hormonal contraceptives both suppress the circummenstrual rhythm and raise the typical body temperature by about 0.6 degrees Celsius, 1.1 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature also varies with the change of seasons during each year. This pattern is called the circannual rhythm. Studies of seasonal variations have produced inconsistent results. People living in different climates may have different seasonal patterns. Increased physical fitness increases the amount of daily variation in temperature. With increased age, both average body temperature and the amount of daily variability in the body temperature tend to decrease. Elderly patients may have a decreased ability to generate body heat during a fever, so even a somewhat elevated temperature can indicate a serious underlying cause in geriatrics. One study suggested that the average body temperature has also decreased since the 1850s. The study's authors believe the most likely explanation for the change is a reduction in inflammation at the population level due to decreased chronic infections and improved hygiene. Measurement methods. Different methods used for measuring temperature produce different results. The temperature reading depends on which part of the body is being measured. The typical daytime temperatures among healthy adults are as follows. Generally, oral, rectal, gut, and core body temperatures, although slightly different, are well correlated. Oral temperatures are influenced by drinking, chewing, smoking, and breathing with the mouth open. Mouth breathing, cold drinks or food reduce oral temperatures, hot drinks, hot food, chewing, and smoking raise oral temperatures. Each measurement method also has different normal ranges depending on sex. Variations due to outside factors. Many outside factors affect the measured temperature as well. Normal values are generally given for an otherwise healthy, non-fasting adult, dressed comfortably, indoors, in a room that is kept at a normal room temperature, 22.7 to 24.4 degrees Celsius, 73 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit, during the morning, but not shortly after arising from sleep. Furthermore, for oral temperatures, the subject must not have eaten, drunk, or smoked anything in at least the previous 15 to 20 minutes, as the temperature of the food, drink, or smoke can dramatically affect the reading. Temperature is increased after eating or drinking anything with calories. Caloric restriction, as for a weight loss diet, decreases overall body temperature. Drinking alcohol decreases the amount of daily change, slightly lowering daytime temperatures and noticeably raising nighttime temperatures. Exercise raises body temperatures. In adults, a noticeable increase usually requires strenuous exercise or exercise sustained over a significant time. Children develop higher temperatures with milder activities, like playing. Psychological factors also influence body temperature. A very excited person often has an elevated temperature. Wearing more clothing slows daily temperature change and raises body temperature. Similarly, sleeping with an electric blanket raises the body temperature at night. Sleep disturbances also affect temperatures. Normally, body temperature drops significantly at a person's normal bedtime and throughout the night. Short-term sleep deprivation produces a higher temperature at night than normal, but long-term sleep deprivation appears to reduce temperatures. Insomnia and poor sleep quality are associated with smaller and later drops in body temperature. Similarly, waking up unusually early, sleeping in, jet lag and changes to shift work schedules may affect body temperature. Concepts. Fever. A temperature set point is the level at which the body attempts to maintain its temperature. When the set point is raised, the result is a fever. Most fevers are caused by infectious disease and can be lowered, if desired, with antipyretic medications. An early morning temperature higher than 37.2 degrees Celsius, 99.0 degrees Fahrenheit, or a late afternoon temperature higher than 37.7 degrees Celsius, 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit, is normally considered a fever, assuming that the temperature is elevated due to a change in the hypothalamus's set point. Lower thresholds are sometimes appropriate for elderly people. The normal daily temperature variation is typically half a degree Celsius, 0.90 degrees Fahrenheit, but can be greater among people recovering from a fever. An organism at optimum temperature is considered a febrile or a pyrexic, meaning without fever. If temperature is raised, but the set point is not raised, then the result is hyperthermia. Hyperthermia. Hyperthermia occurs when the body produces or absorbs more heat than it can dissipate. It is usually caused by prolonged exposure to high temperatures. The heat-regulating mechanisms of the body eventually become overwhelmed and unable to deal effectively with the heat, causing the body temperature to climb uncontrollably. Hyperthermia at or above about 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, is a life-threatening medical emergency that requires immediate treatment. Common symptoms include headache, confusion, and fatigue. If sweating has resulted in dehydration, then the affected person may have dry, red skin. In a medical setting, mild hyperthermia is commonly called heat exhaustion or heat prostration. Severe hyperthermia is called heat stroke. Heat stroke may come on suddenly, but it usually follows the untreated milder stages. Treatment involves cooling and rehydrating the body. Fever-reducing drugs are useless for this condition. This may be done through moving out of direct sunlight to a cooler and shaded environment, drinking water, removing clothing that might keep heat close to the body, or sitting in front of a fan. Bathing in tepid or cool water, or even just washing the face and other exposed areas of the skin, can be helpful. With fever, the body's core temperature rises to a higher temperature through the action of the part of the brain that controls the body temperature. With hyperthermia, the body temperature is raised without the influence of the heat control centers. Hypothermia. In hypothermia, body temperature drops below that required for normal metabolism and bodily functions. In humans, this is usually due to excessive exposure to cold air or water, but it can be deliberately induced as a medical treatment. Symptoms usually appear when the body's core temperature drops by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, 1.8 to 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, below normal temperature. Basal body temperature. Basal body temperature is the lowest temperature attained by the body during rest, usually during sleep. It is generally measured immediately after awakening and before any physical activity has been undertaken, although the temperature measured at that time is somewhat higher than the true basal body temperature. In women, temperature differs at various points in the menstrual cycle, and this can be used in the long term to track ovulation both for the purpose of aiding conception or avoiding pregnancy. This process is called fertility awareness. Core temperature. Core temperature, also called core body temperature, is the operating temperature of an organism, specifically in deep structures of the body such as the liver, in comparison to temperatures of peripheral tissues. Core temperature is normally maintained within a narrow range so that essential enzymatic reactions can occur. Significant core temperature elevation, hyperthermia, or depression, hypothermia, over more than a brief period of time is incompatible with human life. Temperature examination in the rectum is the traditional gold standard measurement used to estimate core temperature. Oral temperature is affected by hot or cold drinks and mouth breathing. Rectal temperature is expected to be approximately 1 Fahrenheit degree higher than an oral temperature taken on the same person at the same time. Ear thermometers measure eardrum temperature using infrared sensors. The blood supply to the tympanic membrane is shared with the brain. However, this method of measuring body temperature is not as accurate as rectal measurement and has a low sensitivity for fevers, missing 3 or 4 out of every 10 fevers in children. Ear temperature measurement may be acceptable for observing trends in body temperature but is less useful in consistently identifying fevers. Until recently, direct measurement of core body temperature required surgical insertion of a probe, so a variety of indirect methods have commonly been used. The rectal or vaginal temperature is generally considered to give the most accurate assessment of core body temperature, particularly in hypothermia. In the early 2000s, ingestible thermistors in capsule form were produced, allowing the temperature inside the digestive tract to be transmitted to an external receiver. One study found that these were comparable in accuracy to rectal temperature measurement. Temperature variation. Hot. Normal. Cold. Historical understanding. In the 19th century, most books quoted blood heat as 98 degrees Fahrenheit, until a study published the mean, but not the variance, of a large sample as 36.88 degrees Celsius, 98.38 degrees Fahrenheit. Subsequently, That mean was widely quoted as 37 degrees Celsius or 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit until editors realized 37 degrees Celsius is equal to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, not 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The 37 degrees Celsius value was set by German physician Karl Reinhold August Wunderlich in his 1868 book, which put temperature charts into widespread clinical use. Dictionaries and other sources that quoted these averages did add the word about to show that there is some variance, but generally did not state how wide the variance is. There are nonverbal corporal cues which can hint at an individual experiencing a low body temperature, which can be used for those with dysphagia or for infants. Examples of nonverbal cues of coldness include stillness and being lethargic with regards to kinesiological movement, sneezing, unusual paleness of skin among Caucasians, and, among males, shrinkage and contraction of the scrotum among males, shrinkage and contraction of the scrotum among males, shrinkage and